In this episode, we will analyze and mix details in landscape and city design and textures, and we will work on details. If you remember in beginner's course, we learned how to draw stones. And drawing stones was one of the things that could help your sketching a lot to create more believable and more natural design. And as we mix these next to other type of detail like a fountain, a water, a pond, you can create something beautiful. For example, from here we have a small waterfall, and the waterfall can rotate here a little bit, and from here you can move between stones here also, and in the end it can lead to a small pond. So I'm using the same technique, but this time the stones need to be drawn more purposefully. Like this. And next to these type of detail, we need to work with bushes and plants that we worked previously. To add those plants next to it, on top of it, or mix them together. So we should be able to use them very easily, like this. And be careful with the angles of the leaves. Let's draw another one here. Let's move it downwards. Do the continuation of them, and as you can see, as we mix these details together, they can create something very beautiful, and they can complement each other, and the end result will be very beautiful. When you're drawing lines, try to do them very elegantly. Next to these plants, I can use some grass, another yucca plant, and adding some shadows on them can help a lot to see surfaces better. As you can see, mixing these details together will help a lot. So we placed a waterfall, some stones, some plants, we mixed them together. It created a beautiful scene next to a pond. And we can create some wave here. Let's add details here also. And as you can see, they created a very natural scene for us. And here I want to draw some stairs to move upwards. So I want to have some flooring like this, and from this flooring, and as you can see, we're not even using perspective, in this type of design. We just need to work with the angles that our eyes are used to, because this type of sketching cannot be used in most of the perspectives. And if you want to master this type of sketching, you can use the scenes that are already made, like already designed park, city landscape. Just sit in front of it and start drawing what you see. The observation will help you to be able to draw stuff a lot better. So, just like this, without using any type of perspective or any specific angle, we are able to design something like this. So you need to work on your observation and you need to practice. Here we can create some boxwood. Here, free. We could place some small stones and we can create another movement next to it also. I'm just placing some stuff next to each other for us to see how they can work with each other. I'm adding some rubble here. So one by one, small details like this, we need to add them. And from here to the other side in water, we can even add some more stones for people to be able to cross on, or for the kids to play on them. And the water can come here and create some reflection. And it shows where the water is going. So we had an area like this. So this is a path which goes from here to the other side. And here we could add some rubble so that people can move by using these big stones. And as you can see, we are drawing something without even using any angle or any type of perspective. It's really important for you to be able to draw something like this. And sketchings in this angle, which you're not using any type of perspective. And here, I'm drawing some stairs. We can show the whole movement first, or we can design and draw each stair one before the other one. Here we can add some plants. Like this. And this will help sketching to look more alive and more natural. And as we keep adding details, it's becoming more interesting. If you have some trees, some bush here, we can show it as well. We can show a landing of the stair, the next one by one. We can keep adding them. And from here, it can turn to the other side. So this time, the landing is facing this way. We do them like this, and later on, we can give a stone texture to them. Now it's rotating the other way. As you can see, we created a very interesting movement there. Now let's add stone texture for each one of our stairs. And here, the place that is going upwards, we can add a small cottage at the top. So we need to draw these type of natural details so much that we can create a very natural scene if you want to. And it's really important for us to be able to mix them correctly. And as it's getting higher, we need to add less amount of details until it gets to the parts that are like that, which gets very simple. And if you have a cottage here, we can draw it. Or if you have a building, we can add it there. But for the building, I will place a vanishing point. So when I'm drawing this building, I'll do it correctly. So we've added this. Maybe it's a pergola. You don't want to design something super complicated here. We can add more stones here. So I'm showing these areas slope roof. We can have them like this. And the back area, the columns can go up. And one part can be a parapet. And as you can see, with the lowest amount of detail, I'm showing this area. I will do a lot of examples like this, so we'll learn how to work with them, how we can mix them together, and how we can use certain type of detail in our sketching. Now let's design the rest of the area. I'm not gonna design something inside it. Let's add some small details like this. Maybe some stones here. So we balance the design out. We don't want to leave the left side. In top area, if back there we have some space, we can show some trees, and this side also. and as we show the general shape of the tree, it will help. And as you can see, without even rendering or without doing anything special or adding any color, we can understand what is happening in this type of sketching. Usually in sketchings like this, I'm not adding color and I'm just making the most out of sketching by adding some line. If we have to, we can add some simple colors as well. Maybe we can just use some limited amount of color in this type of sketching. But first, you need to show the details by using lines. We can add some kids here as well to show that they're playing in this area. Small children can be there, and a bigger one next to it can help to show the area. And here, another kid, which is sitting there and playing with the water. So increase your understanding from different spaces. Tell a story to yourself to see what can happen there. Create a scenario to see if you move up there, what can happen, what do you see, and details like that. Now I'm gonna use color 302 to put a little emphasis on the areas that we have water. Very pale lines, nothing too serious. Make the corners a bit darker. You can color horizontally. And if you like, you can render this by using a very pale green. Let me test the color. And in coloring, I can use 501, 235, or 232, which is very pale. But because the ink was very low, I'm gonna use 232 on some of the plants that we have. I will try to show the areas in between the stones that we have, because doing that will show the plant and the stone better by creating a little contrast between these objects. And this small amount of color is showing what is happening here. And when we are using marker, we can change the shape of some of the objects as well, if we see that it's done incorrectly. And when you are using marker, try to use different shades. Use a pale shade first and then add darker colors on it. I'm gonna pick up CG Color or WG to L ink, add a small color in some areas. Underneath the ceiling, needs to be darker to show the surface. On some of our stairs, just a small amount of color is enough for them. And here we can use this color on the stones and leave the areas in between them to make this stone bolder and show what is happening. So just so easily, we created this scene. We can use darker colors inside it. It's doable. And if you don't want to do it, it's also doable. And it can happen simple like this. In order to make this water a bit bolder, I'm using color 185 to add some more highlight here. And these will help these areas to be seen better. We can make the left side darker to show the angle of light. On the left side here, underneath the surfaces, on the structure, on the surface, we can add more highlight. As we show these, we can see them a lot better. Like this, even in some of our bushes. And it's almost finished. If you like, you can add some red or orange or colors like this. You always find those colors in nature, so don't be afraid and use them in your sketching. I did some orange. I'm going to add some red as well, in order for the viewer's eye to wander around the sketching. Inside water, here and there. You can use it everywhere. It could be some flowers or any other type of detail. We can use purple, and as you can see, these colors can help you a lot. And for our background, in sky, we can use color 77 on the sky to create something different. But when you do that, use a little bit on the water as well to show the reflection. And you can use it in some areas as well. And that will give us a better representation. As you can see, we used simple objects in our design. We used a stone, some trees, some bushes. We mixed them together with a little water. We created some pond. We will do of this example a couple of times so we can have a better understanding on how we can mix these objects together so we can use them in our future sketchings better and correctly.